Back. A couple of other things that I just wanted to put on the table, and then we can continue our conversation about, what's Tucker's end game? I mean, is this actually an attempt to go after the least of among us, shall we say, the least powerful, the least willing, or the least capable of defending themselves, hiring a lawyer to go into child and family court and things like that? Or is this just a stunt, to try and get his ratings out? What's going on with this? But there's a couple of other things happening in the news that I think are really worth mentioning. Paul Krugman, the progressive economist who writes for the New York Times and does a great job. Paul is, he and I have had a few small disagreements. We were on the Air America cruise back in 2006 or 7, and we had a debate on that cruise about so-called free trade. But other than that, I think, probably 99% of the stuff, economic stuff that Paul Krugman is promoting, I would, salute. And he's pointing out that the American Legislative Exchange Council, ALEC, and some of these other right-wing groups, most of them funded by the Koch network and other cranky right-wing billionaires, have been working now for 7 years to rewrite our Constitution. Not to amend it, not to write new laws, but to actually open the Constitution up through what's called an Article 5 convention. Article 5 of the Constitution says if you can get 3/4 of the states to say yes to this, you can hold a convention and you can rewrite the Constitution. It's never been done. But they are very close to this. And they've been holding dress rehearsals in D.C. now every year since 2014. Convention of States dot something. I think it's it might be org, but Convention of States, if you want to see, what they're up to. But it's really, they don't say, oh, we're doing this to make life better for billionaires. We're doing this to write into the Constitution the things that the Supreme Court has done that we like, gutting union rights, or making it so that rich people don't have to pay as many taxes, or establishing corporate personhood once and forever, or saying that, when corporations and billionaires give enormous amounts of money to political candidates or political parties, that's actually speech, don't you know? It's not bribery. They want to actually embed this stuff in the Constitution so that if liberals ever get on the Supreme Court, they can't do anything about it. And this year, lawmakers proposed 42 Convention of States resolutions in at least 24 new states. And the concern is that if the Republicans and Fox News and these right-wing commentators who are trying to tell everybody don't wear masks, don't get vaccinated, this is what they're saying, if they can keep this virus going, if they can keep enough people freaked out about the virus that they're afraid to go to work, they're afraid to go to the store, they're concerned about going to a restaurant, even if they're vaccinated, because now we've got variants that you can get even after you're vaccinated. If they can keep this virus going, if they can prevent America from achieving herd immunity, then they can prevent Joe Biden from getting the virus under control, which means they can prevent President Biden from getting the economy back on its feet. And we all know what happens when the economy's in the crapper. The party in power loses the next election, which is coming up in a year and a half, in 2022. And if they can seize enough power in a couple more states, they can have their convention and they can rewrite the Constitution. And this is real. And this is something that they have been working on for decades. In my opinion, these are people who do not believe in what you and I would call democracy. They do not believe in a republic. This could, if they have their way, they don't believe in the social safety net. They think that Social Security and Medicare are unconstitutional. They are socialism. They think that people should be allowed to discriminate in 16 ways to Sunday based on their religious beliefs. You would see the First Amendment with your right to petition, to gather together, to peaceably assemble and petition the government for redress of grievance. That's under attack right now. In over 40 states, Republicans have introduced laws to make it, to basically criminalize protest. And in a half a dozen states now, probably soon to be a dozen states, they've introduced laws that would have made Heather Heyer's killer walk as scot-free as Trayvon Martin's killer did. The stand your law version, only instead of with a gun, you're going to stand your ground. Instead of standing your ground with a gun, you get to stand your ground with a 2,000 pound piece of machinery, or a 4,000 pound piece of machinery, a car, wrapped in steel. I was so terrified I had to run those people over.